trip because I've had this conversation in various forms with 6 different people. And it's about what constitutes a great education and what doesn't. And the reason I call it the myth of a good education is because this recession has exposed people. It has shifted out the frauds, the fakers, and many of those people are, in the terms of GPA, graduating, being great with grammar, these people are awesome. But many of those people are unemployed. Let's examine that. You got a great education. You maintained a high GPA. You can congregate a verb. You can do all this great stuff. But you can't get a job. Let's think about that. You did everything you were supposed to do in terms of educating yourself. You worked hard, but you can't get a job. See, this is the great myth. And this is something that I kind of picked up years ago listening to Earl Nightingale and Lead the Field. Going back to Earl. Earl is my dude. He was talking about one of his friends who could not speak properly. Now, he did say that vocabulary was very important. And the reason vocabulary is very important is because you must be able to effectively, I'm going to stress that word, effectively communicate an ideal. I don't care how technically proficient you are as a writer, if you cannot communicate ideals in a manner that when they leave your brain and they arrive in the brain of the person you're communicating with, and it doesn't arrive there and they're like, I got it, you failed. I don't care how great your words are. I don't care how perfect your emails, your messages are. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. And what this recession has done has exposed one of the biggest myths that many people, and you could disagree if you want to, you can get a great education, and in terms of employment, financial security, long-term earnings, at this juncture, it doesn't mean squat. Why is that? When did that happen? Because I looked at it, and only maybe 30% of the people in the country hold a degree. But many of the people who are business owners and have a high income, some have degrees, a lot are dropouts. I dropped out junior year, and I'm employing people now who have degrees. And I sit back, and I'm not trying to be like mean or go, I'm just really like, what is really important? Are your credentials important? Because we've set up a system that is falling down on our ears, that you must be credentialed to get to certain jobs. And for certain jobs, such as being a doctor or an attorney, that's true. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, for 70% of the jobs out there, that's not true. The most important thing is experience and being able to be effective in that position. Because this is what an engineer firm owner told me. One of the biggest problems that he had with engineers were that many of them could not solve problems. And if you know anything about engineering, that's the core of the business. You solve problems. They couldn't do it. Many recent graduates couldn't do it, and they had to retrain them, and this was a reoccurring problem. And this is one of the things that people don't talk about, or if you don't go to certain blogs, you don't know about it. You have no clue. And something else that jumps out, and I've said this a long time ago, if you're intelligent, have a great work ethic, and the ability to learn from your mistakes, you can go very far in life, because there are people who just have one of those things. They may be intelligent, but their work ethic is shoddy or non-existent. They may learn from their mistakes, but they're not too bright. I mean, there's many things that goes into this thing of being successful. And for a long time, going to school, getting a degree, getting married, having 2.3 kids, that was the epitome of success. Also with a big car in your garage. That's out the window. It is out the window because housing prices, once again, my estimation, just my opinion, they're still sliding. I think a friend of mine put on his wall about the Great Depression that's coming. I think it's here, and I think it's being hidden and covered up through financial trickeration. I think we're in it for a long period of just blah. They're going to do whatever they can to prop things up, because if the economy was to truly collapse, it's going to be a war, and the war of all wars. Because it's not just going to be about a war of politics and land. It's going to be about a war for survival. So believe me, the trickeration, the manipulation, all the games and stuff to keep what this molasses kind of floating, they're going to keep doing it. They're not going to let the economy just completely and utterly collapse. Well, we go through very hard times where a lot of people suffer, yeah, but for complete collapse in World War III, I don't see that. I could be wrong. We could be there next year. But the way I look at it, we're just going to roll on, and it's going to be tepid, weak, non-existent, or very, very marginal growth. Pretty much just treading water for a very long time, because there's nothing to bail anyone out. The internet thing is maturing. But I don't know. There could be some on the horizon, but it's just like blah. But back to being effective. If you want to change your life, if you want to make more money, be happy, you have to be effective. I want you to understand, being effective and the ability to get things done is more important than intelligence and talent and credentials, in my opinion. There will be many people who will disagree with me, but I have friends who have 2, 3, 4. Got one friend, I'm not even going to sex, 4 degrees, and experienced some extreme financial hardship. Extreme. And this person is exceptionally bright. And then the thing is, something that I'm hearing is like, money doesn't mean anything, or there's better things in life than money. My opinion, the people who say that don't have any money, because money may not buy happiness, but it solves a lot of problems, and you need it. You need it. But I just kind of went through the category of a lot of my friends and people I know from business, and I just really started looking at the ones who were effective. And some had degrees, some didn't. But the biggest thing that I could flesh out of all of them is they were talented, they were smart, talented, extremely hardworking. Extremely hardworking. That was a common thread that ran through all of them. Extremely hardworking. These were the folks that 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm making my sales calls. These were the people I could reach. 7 p.m. at night, I'm making my sales call. These were the people I could reach. Extremely hardworking. I think that, above any and everything else, was the reason for their success, because it took me a while to learn it. There are no shortcuts to hard work. We could try to outsource this. We can try to, leverage our resources, but at the end of the day, you still are going to have to work hard till you get to a point where you can hire people to do that for you and pay them effectively, pay them well, where they're actually going to want to do it and they're going to do a great job. Also, I'm going to kill a sacred cow. Part of the conversation this week was about doing what you love. I think that is total and utter bullshit. If you do what you love, the money will come. No, it won't. No. I've mentioned that before, but I'm going to keep harping on that. No, it will not. What's going to come is whatever you are persistent about, whatever you determine to make happen. And another thing that came across my nose this week was you have to want things. It has to be more than wanting it. Now, the way I look at it, if you want something bad enough, you're going to prepare yourself to do all the things in all aspects to get it. Because then this thing was to give yourself internal permission to want it. I still am working on that, because you typically have everything in your life that you want. I know you're going to disagree with me, but true. Whatever's really important to you, you have. And if you don't have something, it's not that important to you. It's that simple. And I know it's like real harsh, but you want to be successful, you will find out what your deficiencies, what your blind spots. You'll find out what that stuff is, and you'll start putting a plan in place to fix it. Like, all right, I have a speech impediment that pops out, and I'm mildly dyslexic, which creates a lot of havoc. I have to write every day to keep that stuff calm, because when I go on a stretch where I don't write, whoo, man, I look at some of that stuff and I'm like, boy, you look like a crackhead. But it's me. It's a weakness. I know it's going to happen. So I've put together a team that's kind of helping me with that. That's what you have to do if you want to be successful. You have to recognize your weaknesses and do things that you know you can be effective by doing those things. Because I look at it, for a long, long time, we were all sold a false set of false goods, crappy goods, spoiled goods, expired goods. We were sold a lie. Just keep it real. We were sold a lie. Because the thing is, you do need education to be successful in life. But it doesn't have to be in the form of a college degree. It must be in the form of what's going on in the world, what skill sets you have, what skill sets you can leverage, what information you have that can make you effective. That's what you need. And I'm not going to go ahead and use the often referenced examples of the internet gazillionaires, because everyone cannot run an internet business. Everyone's not going to start an internet business. There's going to be wonderful things that are going to come down the pike. People are going to do some amazing stuff. There's new technology, but most of the world is not on the internet. That still means someone's got to cook that burger. That still means someone's got to manufacture the camera that I am speaking to you on. There's still so much that has to go on to make this world run. And many of you have the skills, the skill sets that could probably do a great job if you can somehow pull yourself away from immediate gratification. Yeah, the quick fix is killing a lot of people. It's just not going to happen. I've given up on it. I've just, in terms of my writing career, there's like a 10-year plan. I really expect the things to really bam, like year 10. And I got to work my ass off from year 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So year 10 is looking like real nice. And that's just the reality. Maybe I get there sooner. Maybe I get there later. But I'm being realistic. Because people want to start something and then 2 years later they're this wonderful success. And in my estimation, anything that happens that quick can dissipate that quick. Anything that you take some time to build, typically it doesn't come apart that fast. That's why some of these large companies that ran into problems, they didn't just disappear overnight. For some, it took years for them to go out of business. And I think for you, in terms of what you want to do, if you're building something, you're consistent and you're consistently effective, you're going to be all right. You're going to be maybe from all right to you're going to thrive to you're going to be growing fantastically as a person with your business and other things. But the key thing is you have to be effective. So because there's many people, and I had another friend who didn't go to school at all, didn't drop out, never went, and is in her 40s, and she's just bemoaning that fact, and I'm just like, you can still do shit. Many people feel that if they didn't arrive to a certain benchmark in their life by a certain age, they're a failure. I don't think like that. As long as you're living, you're growing, and you're doing what you need to do to move forward, whether it's an inch a month or it's a foot a week, forward progression is forward progression. And you have to measure your progression based on what you're doing, where you are, and where you want to go. Because I think one of the biggest problems is that so many people cannot live the lives they want to live is because they're spending too much time trying to keep up for the Joneses. It's keeping you in debt, it's having you in places you shouldn't be, and you don't have the freedom you crave. But that's a whole nother thing. Because going forward, there's going to be a whole bunch of great information coming out, because I kind of changed the channel just a little bit, because I got a lot of folks who have no interest in storage auctions, but they have a tremendous interest in business, personal development, and just being successful. So we're going to work on that. All right, just some food for thought, something you can chop up, chew on. All right, this is Glendon. I'll catch you later.